Welcome to Music and Medicine. Welcome to Music and Medicine. Welcome to Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis. Welcome to Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis. I'm really excited and ecstatic to be joined by Pierre Andre Evans. And oh gosh, this person has taken the world by storm. He is talented in so many areas: writing, music, dance, theater. He's also a publisher, and you can see his work throughout. And he even wrote a book about the life of entertainers. So we're going to talk about that as well. So welcome, my friend.
Hey, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on the show. It's an honor. Please.
Sure, absolutely. Definitely. And I definitely would be remiss if I didn't do a quick shout out to Desiree Benson,
Yes.
best publicist out there. And she's wonderful. And I know you've worked with her. And
Absolutely. Desiree L. Benson. I've never
right,
seen her
right.
L.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
big shout out there.
Absolutely.
So, I wanted to start here because so many people have a degree in the arts, as you do. And I know you grew up in the Midwest towards Chicago and went to Columbia College, but so few people are talented in as many of the arts as you are.
Thank you.
So you not only have the degree, but I mean, every time I was studying, I had to add in another word: a publisher, actor, dancer, DJ,
Wow,
writer, author. So, so tell me where that love sort of developed from. I know not all the family was musical, so
okay.
Yeah, let's start sort of how you got this inspiration to be such a creative.
Okay. Well, it started off, my mother is a pianist. She played the piano. She's classically trained by nuns back in the 50s. And so she probably played Bach and Beethoven and all of that.
Right.
And my father was a singer, a DJ, and he had his own group. Right. So when those two merged, I was the product. So I always had a piano in my house when I grew up. My mother, she hated the piano because she was forced to play it. So she had it there, but she never played it because, if you're forced to do something, you learn to resist it. I played it by ear, and I would play something, and I would call her, "Mom, listen." She come, "Huh? What's up?" And then I started playing the whole song, or play something that I heard on the radio or something like that. And so I just had a natural gift and an ear to play piano. And then I used to write poetry. And then a funny thing, I also used to write plays as a kid. And I had my friends come over, and I'd be like, "Okay, here's your part. Here's your part. And they'd be like, "We just came over to watch TV." And I'm like, action. We
got work to do. So we're going to make a play.
Putting them to work. And I was doing this like about 12, 13. All of this is like 12, 13 years old.
Right. Wow.
And later on in life, my brother started DJing. And so he had went off to the Army, and he came back like around 1981, something like that. I was like 14, 15, 16, something like that. And he had started DJing. Right. And my father used to DJ too, and my parents threw parties almost every weekend. So I was used to hearing the music. My father had all the songs and everything. Right. So then my brother started DJing, and then I taught myself how to do that as well. He never taught me. I used to watch. And then when he wasn't around, because I'm the little brother, don't touch my stuff.
Right.
But while he was gone, I was on it. And just next thing you know, I started DJing. And so later on, as the DJing progressed, house music came out around 1985. It started here in Chicago. I know a lot of the DJs that did it. And so my musical background came in, and I said, well, I'm DJing these songs. I already know how to play songs, play the keyboards. I made an actual album.
Right.
Vinyl.
He's like the real thing.
Yeah, this is like 1990, 91, something like that.
Yeah.
And so then that's how I got into making music. Then a little while later, I was working at Navy Pier before Navy Pier became this big amusement park that it is now. It used to just be a little small area. I had a friend to come in from California. He was a stunt man. And he used to be in RoboCop 2, where the robot get blown up and he comes walking out. That's him on the inside.
Right. Oh, wow.
He came to Chicago to vacation, and he asked me he wanted to work while he was here. So I didn't even know casting agencies were here. He went to a casting agency, filled out application, said, you go ahead and fill one out. I said, well, I don't act at all. I didn't even do it in school or nothing.
Right.
I filled it out. The first job I got called for was Cuba Gooding's movie, Gladiator.
Wow.
Gladiator. Then from Gladiator, I got Home Alone 2.
Wow.
Richie Rich, with both of them with Macaulay Culkin. The Negotiator with Samuel Jackson. Never Been Kissed with Drew Barrymore. And then the last one I did was Road to Perdition with Tom Hanks, Jude Law, Paul Newman.
Yeah.
And so in those positions, I did various like stand-ins or extras or body double, all those type of stuff. So that's how I dabbled into that. Then I got into theater, you know.
He's like, I just kept on a roll.
I kept going because I was raised like that. My parents were like, anything you want to do, you can do it. And I took that to heart.
Yeah.
Then I got into this company called Taste of Theater, where we produced this series called Acting with the Stars and Taste of Theater. What we did was we'd have a competition of playwrights.
Right.
You submit your play. We have an audience. And then you submit one scene from your play. We had 10 different playwrights. We got live audience and celebrity judges that would choose a winner.
Which one? And
so that's how I got into theater. The dancing, I've been dancing all my life. So they nicknamed me, my name is Pierre Andre Evans. They nicknamed me the house community. I'm well known in the house community.
Right. He's
like Andre Pierre, they reversed my name. Andre Pierre, the dancing machine.
You tear it up.
So I always I'm featured on stage whenever they have house events, things of that sort. People know me by Andre Pierre, the dance machine, and they have a slogan. If Andre Pierre is at your party, you know what's going on. But that's how I got into all of that. Oh, magazine and the book.
Sure. Wow.
Here's my book. Right. I always wanted to write a book.
Yes.
I used to write for Soul Train. This magazine here, Indigo, a newspaper called Chicago Defender. And so I said, I've built up a reputation. People know me.
Sure.
Why am I going to write for another company? Let me start my own. So around April, when we had COVID, April of 2020 is when I brought out the first issue of a Go Bang magazine. Right. And I said, this is the perfect time. Everybody's at home. They can read.
Sure.
So I came out with that magazine. I try to focus on famous people and not so famous people. Because when I was struggling, I wish it was somebody like me that gave a light to unknown people.
Sure. Absolutely.
And then with the book, I knew all of these celebrities from working with Soul Train and all that. I said, well, let me call them and pick their brains.
Yes.
And find out what makes them tick. And so I called up several celebrities. Some wanted money. Others were saying, well, Pierre, I already got my money. We know you out here trying. Let me help you get your money. And I know me being in your book will help out. So I stuck with those.
Yes.
I said peace.
I'm
like, y'all already got your money. You millionaires. Let me get back.
Give some back.
Yeah, give back to the community. Sure. So that's how I got into the different areas that I'm in.
Sure. Absolutely. Well,
I love it. It's exciting.
I see the passion. I love it. I love people who are intense. That's why I love working with creatives. So I want to dial back a little bit because you've covered a lot and I want to dissect it for those who may not have had some of those experiences and certainly not all of them. Right. So let's first talk about sort of what that involved when you were working as an extra, body double and things like that. Many times people may hear of these things, but not realize like how important an entire cast is to making a movie. What was it like sort of being on the set? We can start with the first one.
Okay.
First movie you mentioned.
First movie. Yeah, that was Gladiator.
Right.
With Cuba Gooding.
Yeah.
In that movie, I was an extra. That was my first time. And it was shot on the south side of Chicago in an area known as Inglewood, which is known for a lot of violence and a lot of negativity, but a lot of positivity happens over there as well. It just doesn't get the press.
Exactly.
So this was the location that they shot it at. It was at a school. I forgot the name of this grammar school, but it was out in their yard, the scene that I was in.
Sure.
This was the scene where Cuba Gooding Jr. was getting beat up. And it was a big old crowd. Okay, so building up to that. Sure. First of all, when I first got the call,
Yeah.
We want you, and come on, you're gonna be an extra. I'm like, man, I never did nothing, and I'm working with Cuba Gooding right off the bat.
Sure.
I'm like, oh, this is cool.
I'm on my way.
Yes, I brought my brother, my best friend, all of them. They wasn't even in the movie. I just wanted somebody to witness this.
Sure. Be sure.
Right. So when I tell a story, they
Exactly.
were, yeah, right, Pierre. No, he saw it and he saw it too.
Right. Wasn't just me.
Right, it wasn't me. So I brought them. And so we saw Cuba Gooding. I was the only person I really knew at that time. I think I was only like about 20, 21, 22. I wasn't even into all of that at that point, but I recognized him.
Of course.
So the scene that I was in was where he was getting beat up in the schoolyard, and we were just all crowded around him. He's on the floor getting kicked. Yeah. And we just like, oh, kick his butt. And that's how we do, like instigating.
Yes, exactly.
That's it. We basically were just instigating.
Right.
And on the set, they have rules where they don't want you, for those that've never been there, they don't want you to harass the star. Don't talk to the star unless the star talks to you.
Right.
Don't run up to him asking for autographs. As background, we're just filling in. We're filling in. Exactly. And so when they start a scene, the background starts first. So whatever you're doing, we may just start. So when they start shooting, the action is already going.
Sure.
So the best part is the food craft services, because they eat like it's Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, all in one. Sure. Our breakfast was huge, lunch is huge, dinner, and you're there from sunrise to sunset, because using those lights are very expensive. Yeah, so they try to use natural light.
Right.
So it's a long day from like 5 in the morning to maybe about 8 o'clock at night. So you get breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Right. And this involves how many scenes? Because that's something that a lot of times people don't realize, like how long it takes to.
Oh my God!
It may only be 2 or 3 minutes on
that
final cut.
That one scene took all day. Right. that one scene took about 12 hours because they're trying to get everything perfect. And I'm like, that's what really shocked me. What you just pointed out, how long the scene may only take on screen. Once it's finished, it may only be like 5 minutes long. Sure. But it may take a whole day to get that, and it's action. Or then cut, retake, and everybody got to go back to where you were. You do it again. But what you do learn out of that is you get to network with the other actors that are there that know of new opportunities that you may not have known of. You get, if the star comes and talks to you, you get to pick their mind. And sometimes if they were generous, they would give you their email address. Because it wasn't any cell phones, it was home phones. So they're not giving you their home number. I know, but they would network back with you. And so it was a great networking opportunity as well.
Sure, absolutely. And then let's talk about some of the other assignments that you had when you did Home Alone and Richie Rich.
Okay, yeah. Now Home Alone 2, that was it was called Lost in New York.
Right, exactly.
It was actually at O'Hare Airport here in Chicago.
Yes,
and
I remember.
You just did a green screen. When you look out the window to make it look like New York.
Right.
They changed all the when we were in, because it was in the airport. I was in the airport scene. Yeah. They just changed everything, like to say fly to Chicago. And, you know what I mean? Like you somewhere else. You know what I mean? Fly to Chicago and change the newspaper to the New York Times. And, they did all that kind of stuff. And so when I got that one, that was the second movie. So I started off with Cuba Gooding, and then I went straight to Macaulay Culkin. So everybody this is Home Alone 2. So everybody already know the success of Home Alone 1.
Exactly.
And I was like, oh, I'm on a roll.
I'm on my way to stardom.
Yes.
Right here in Chi-Town. I don't even have to get on a plane.
Right. By Christmas, I'm gonna be in Hollywood. Exactly. And so this was shot around June or July.
Okay.
Winter coats, because it don't be the season that you shoot in, and sometimes it'll be, when you see a movie, it'll be cold, but you'll have on little jackets and shorts, and you just gotta bite your tongue and just do it. You know what I mean? The seasons have nothing to do. Whatever season they want it to be, that's the season it's going to be. Or you can go home. Right. So Home Alone 2, the scene I was in, that one was we're at the airport, and it's when he's on the airplane, and he comes out the terminal, and he's looking for his mom and dad. He thinks he's in Florida, but he's actually in New York.
Right, exactly.
And so he comes out and there's two cameras, one on the left and one on the right.
Mhm.
And when he comes out of the little tunnel, when you're coming off the airplane, when he opens up the door, I'm the person directly in front of him. It was some people in front of me, and then it was me, and he was directly right behind me. I talked with him all through the whole thing.
Wow.
And he was such a smart aleck. He was pulling the fire alarms in O'Hare Airport. He running, should I do it, you all? Should I do it? Should I do it? Everybody like, no, don't do it. He pulled it. I was like, oh, this boy is crazy. But anyway, in the scene, I come out, I'm hugging this young lady, and I have a big gift box in my arm. Yes. I think I was wearing some sunglasses at that time, and I got a nice little trench coat. And I'm walking, and I go to the left. Like I said, it's a camera there, and it's a camera here. So I go over to the camera to the left. And when I move, just like that chair, there he is. Right, so you're not going to see him until you see me.
Right. He's like, I'm definitely in the movie.
Right. I'm in the movie. I'm in there because when I moved, then he's right behind me. Right. So that was the second one. And then right immediately, maybe about 5 years later is when they did Richie Rich. And now he was big. He's a big kid. Now he's older. Exactly. And he was still a troublemaker. He's still That's right. Nothing had changed. He had just gotten taller. His voice got a little deeper. Yes. And I told him, I said, I was in the Home Alone. Now, this is the funny part. I said, I was in Home Alone 2 with you when you got off the airplane. I was the person in front of you. You remember me? He's like, oh, yeah. I don't think he remembered me.
That's good. Better that than no.
Right. Yeah, that's better than saying no.
It's good acting.
Right. That's what, right. He was like, yes, I remember you. And I was like, okay, I just played it off. Yeah. And so in that one, he was the little rich boy that was sad. Right. He was he had saved this company was going out of business. They made tools. Right. And he bought the company to save everybody job. Right. I was one of the workers whose job he was saving. Right. And so this was on the west side of Chicago. Sure. And he had and that scene took forever too. All he was doing was we were giving a big celebration event for him to say thank you for saving our jobs. Right. So we got this big stage set up. We got the mayor there, the owner of the company, and his father. Right. And then the rest of us are workers. And we got our little work suits and stuff, the jump suits and stuff. Right. So he comes out and all he had to say was, wow, thank you all. He holds it up and he says, and it's a gold ratchet set. Sure. And all he has to say is, wow, thank you. I love this. And my dad loves this. And if my mom knew what it was, she'd love it too. And the whole audience, you so funny, Richie. We went through that so many times. Right. That's why I still remember it.
Of course, it'd be burned in your brain the rest of your life.
Burned in my brain. So we shot there for about 10 hours just doing that one scene.
One scene, wow.
That one scene. And you see me in that movie as well, because when he says that and cracks his joke, I love this. My dad loved this, and if my mom knew what it was, she'd love it too. I'm clapping. We love you, Richie, and they put the camera right on me.
You gave them the performance they wanted. That's what they wanted.
And that's how they pick out things that stick out. Right. So I'm hollering, we love you, Richie, and then they put the camera right on me. Right. That was fun too.
Right. And I want to cover the airport scene because certainly I've got young kids. And so I've seen all these movies many, many times.
Oh, yes. I'm sure.
I knew about the Home Alone, but I didn't realize you had done the Richie Rich movies. But I saw those too because they're kind of, wholesome.
Right.
And, wholesome. How long did it take you guys to shoot that airport scene? Same thing, was that almost like a full day just to do that?
That was a full day. Yes, absolutely. Because it was a lot of people. They had the whole airport. Sure. At least that terminal was blocked off.
Well, I was going to ask, yeah. And did they shoot it at night, like all night? Because I know some places.
It started in the morning, and it went till about. They always start like about 5 or 6 o'clock. Right. So now we're using real lights because we indoor. We can't use outdoor, but we still had to be there at the same time.
Sure. Right.
And so that shot to maybe about. It took a whole day. It took a whole day. It's like I said. So they had to block it off, and my scene was just the people that's coming out of the little tunnel once you get off the airplane.
Sure.
But they still had people just walking around just at the airport. You know what I mean?
Right.
The background. They call that background.
Right. Exactly.
They had to coordinate that, and everybody had to go back.
Sure.
And it was crazy. It was crazy.
Right.
I know the one fun. I did TV too. I don't know if it's showed out there, but it was a TV show called New Early Edition, where this guy got this newspaper a day early, and he knew the future.
Oh, wow.
And this other one called Cupid, where it was the actual Happy Valentine's Day. You know, it was called Cupid, and he was an angel sent back to Earth to put together 100 couples, and then he can go back to heaven.
Sure, nice.
So that on both of those shows, this is just a funny memory. It just clicked in. Funny memory. On both of those shows, they had Halloween specials where they were at nightclubs. It was a club here called Crowbar, where what's the Chicago Bull with the white with his hair on? Rodman. Rodman. He used to party at this club here in Chicago called Crowbar. Well, that's where they shot the movie.
Sure.
Through this whole movie, we're there from 6 a.m. again till 8 o'clock at night.
Right, exactly.
Music playing, boom, boom, smoke. You know, the little party, you know, the smoke scene, strobe light. We had to go out every now and then because your lungs was filled with this smoke.
Right.
But they were serving real drinks. They were serving beer and alcohol, and they just told us drink. At the end of the night, everybody was messed up.
Right. And very into the scene.
We were into the scenes. That was just something funny that just ran across my head. But those are only 2 TV shows that I did, those 2.
No, but that's definitely awesome. And without trying to disclose all your finances, but to paint people a realistic picture, because certainly some of us in the business have all started out doing some extra work.
Right.
Give us a general sense, because I think a lot of times people think, hey, you're on this movie and it's essentially a multi-million-dollar movie. And so everybody's going to get, minimum of $100K, and then they're going to get massive royalties every year Christmas when it comes around. I just wanted to kind of put that into perspective. That
yes, let me
you may have a starring role, really a star for a moment. Realities of you have to literally start, from the bottom and work your way up.
Literally starting from the bottom.
Right.
When you come on, there's a lot of paperwork you got to fill out. Yes. One of them is a release, and another is a letter stating that you are not going to get any royalties from this. You're going to get paid today and go home. Your name's not going to be in the credits.
Right.
And back then, which was, like I said, in the 90s, it was mostly all of the 90s is when I did a lot of my work. Right. As far as the extra, that was the lowest one. That one you maybe got about $100.
Right, exactly.
For all day.
Right. Yep.
Now stand-in and extra, body double, those different rates are featured, background, those are different scales, but the most common is extra. And back then, I don't know what it's getting now, but it's probably maybe about 150. Even though it's 20 years later.
Right. No, it moves very.
But the experience, there's a lot of things better than financial gain.
Right. Exactly.
The connections and the experience and the networking is much more valuable than the money.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so after you finished up the some of those movies and TV shows, what things did you transition into?
So then I transitioned into DJing more and producing music, producing artists, and I had my own record label. So I turned into Berry Gordy.
Right. It's like, hey, Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago. That's when House came out. I was DJing. All the people like Steve Silk Hurley, the people that made It's House and Time to Jack.
Yes.
All those Farley Keith, all the Jack Your Body, all that. I know them personally. Right. Those are my friends. So I'm like, they making music. Let me make one. So I did. I did. Wow. And so the 90s all the way maybe up to about the late 80s, because a lot of them I was doing at the same time. I was acting, I was DJing, I was doing all this at the same time. But like the 80s all the way through mid 90s is when I was doing a lot of my music, either DJing or producing music or running a record label. Right. And so on my own, my name was Pierre, and that's Player and Pierre put together. Player. Right. And you can look me up on YouTube and you'll see a song I got that's more current called Guaranteed Love. Player. And it's a stepping song, like neo soul stepping. Stepping is from Chicago as well.
Yes,
So I
exactly.
did that, but the one I'm referring to in the 90s was called Mind Groove, and it was a house song, and it did very well locally.
Right.
And so I was really proud of that, just to hold up. And I
Yeah.
said, this is me. You know what
Right.
I mean? I got a
Exactly.
record. So I did that for a little while. And a lot of stuff I did just to do it. Thank God I'm gifted in a lot of areas. I
Right.
can't draw. People say, what can't you do? I can't draw.
He's like,
Okay, so that's what I can't do.
right.
You know,
But
so
all the others.
I did a lot of things just to see, can I do it? Challenge myself. You know what I mean? And then once I did it, if I liked it, I stuck with it. If not, I could just check it off. I did it.
Yeah.
Modeling. I did runway modeling as well too. I did that for about 10 years, my 20s and 30s.
And talk to us about how important that versatility is when it comes to essentially making a living, because it's always been a challenge in the arts and being creative. You know, these days, yes, we hear of the few that really get pushed to the top, but there's so many people that can do well and make a living. But by the same token, like you said, it's almost somewhat being a chameleon. You've got to be comfortable doing voiceover acting, you're dancing, playing instruments and things of that nature, not just always be completely typecast unless that star just takes off.
Yeah, you definitely have to know more than one trick. You have to have more than one tool in your bag. Otherwise, because with the entertainment industry, whether it's modeling, singing, acting, dancing, it's finicky. They can love you today, and then tomorrow, here comes the new one. And now you gone. I was just hot yesterday. Well, this one's hotter, and you old news. So you gotta, as you said, you have to be a chameleon. You gotta wear more than one hat. You definitely, I say, whatever you do, learn the back end of it, the business side of the industry. You know what I mean? The part on stage with the lights, camera, action, that's a small percentage of what goes on in the music industry. And that's all that everybody see. They just see the lights and the people holler. That's what I want to do. But you get off the stage and you look in your bank account and you on zero. You know, you did all these shows, you ain't got no money. You need to know some type of business. And that's what main reason I went to Columbia College for. My degree is in arts, entertainment, and media management. And so I learned the business side of it as well as the artistic side of it. And I recommend everyone, you don't have to be an accountant or a lawyer, but know something about accounting, know something about law, know something so that somebody can just tell you anything and you be okay. You know what I mean? Exactly. So I definitely you have to know more than one if you have the talent. If you're only talented in one area, you can train. I recommend that you train and learn something else. You know what I mean? But but definitely learn the back end of it. Learn the business side. It's the entertainment business. And they mean that. Entertainment, that's one part. Business is the other part. So definitely be versatile.
Sure. What are some of those pearls that you felt you walked away from? We'll start with those early experiences when you were doing the TV shows, a little bit of the acting and also the DJing. What kinds of things did you feel like, okay, here's some of the pearls that I now know when it comes to either accepting a gig or an assignment or going on set?
Okay. Well, with when I DJ'd and some when I'm with the agency, then I just have to go with them. And so when I was doing the modeling and acting, those were where I was registered with agencies and they would call me and say, okay, we have this for you. We have this for you. There were some times where I set up now with DJing or performing as Pierre, you know, doing those or motivational speaking, and people ask me to come and speak for them. Those I set up on my own. And that's where you have to have that background, that business background, being able to draw, because now you're an independent contractor.
Right.
So now you just say, they say, well, Pierre, we want you to come DJ. Oh, okay. What time you want me there? Okay, well, hold it. How long is it going to be?
Yes.
Are people getting paid?
Right.
Is it going to be a bar? You know what I mean? You can get part of the door, you can get part of a bar. You know, plus you need to get paid just your salary too. So you get salary plus part of the other stuff. So don't underbid yourself. You know what I mean? Or I know maybe $200 an hour might be too much. Let me just say $50. Okay, they're gonna love you because you're just about free. You know what I mean? Right. So don't underbid yourself. You know what I mean? Know your worth. Right. And charge accordingly in whatever field that you are. Right. How do you know that? You can network. Speak with other people that's out there that's doing it. So definitely do your homework. Go to networking events in your field or things that you're interested in, because you can always learn. Always learn. You know what I mean? Always keep improving yourself in whatever field that you're in, because you can never know too much. Right. You know what I mean? So do your homework on whatever that you're pursuing. Right. Absolutely. And you never know who you'll meet, like you said about. Exactly. Networking is key. The whole entertainment industry is based on relationships. Right. And if you act a butthole at one place, that person probably knows, if this could have been a modeling show, but that person probably knows somebody in the music industry, somebody in the acting world, and they gonna say, you can get blackballed, or blacklisted, just because you acted a butt with this person. So you never know who you're talking to. So you need to always be on your best behavior and realize that this industry is based on relationships, and one bad relationship can ruin your whole career. And then you can bow your head and just walk away. Just go away, because you're done. You're done. Now, doing and starting a record label seems to be such a daunting undertaking. How did you find that whole world to be in trying to manage artists, do A&R, get records out, promote? It's so many different hats someone has to wear that I don't think a lot of people may realize. Through a combination of my personal life and school. Growing up a DJ, you got to make flyers, you got to make pluggers. Nice. So I had a network of how to do promotion naturally before I went to college. I was DJing since I was 12, since around 1979 when disco first came out. That's when I first started. So I already knew how to promote. So this before social media, stuff like that. So we're doing flyers and posters, put them up on poles and stuff like that. So as far as promotion, that came natural to me. And then I'm a writer, so I can write ads or promotions. Once I got to school, Columbia College is an arts school. And so a lot of people you see on TV, radio, news came from Columbia College, either the one here in Chicago or the one in New York, Columbia University. So once I got to school, I learned about marketing and advertising and promotions and things like that, and management, because that's my degree, arts, entertainment, media management. So I learned how to manage arts, like theater, art galleries, arts, entertainment, and media. So I'm covering every aspect of entertainment. I'm ready to run it, So then I managed myself starting off. Remember, Pierre, so I had to. I had to book my concerts. Right. So that's how I learned with the booking and find out how you get paid and then, just promotion. So I just transferred that once I started managing other artists. And so I branched off into, I had a group called Crystal Clear. And the owners were me, my brother, my older brother, my little sister, my nephew, and my sister's boyfriend. And so the group was 13 individuals, like Wu-Tang. That's what everybody used to say, you all like the Wu-Tang Clan. And so each person was an individual solo artist. We had poets, rappers, dancers, singers, and some people that are instrumentalists, people play drums. So each person could stand on their own. But I put everybody together as a group. I was in it too. I was almost the oldest one there, but I was in the group as well. And so I was with the singers. So I was a manager and an artist. And so I toured the group around Chicago. We were in this big parade here called the Bud Billiken Parade. We were on the Oprah Winfrey Show. We did it, and I booked all of that. I was so proud of myself. I booked all of that. And so once my goal and my mission was to take the group on the road and we had three of the members would stick together, do R&B. These three would stick together and do hip hop. I had 3 that were with me that did our neo soul and stepping type. And so I want to throw everything out there and see what stuck. All gravitated to this hip hop trio.
Sure.
So I'm like, okay, you are gonna be the first ones that we branch off as solo artists. And after them, this neo soul group, they branched off. So I just kept my ear to the public. And as a DJ, that's an art too. You gotta be able to read the crowd to know if this song is doing good. So it's all in intuition, and knowing people, psychology, all of that. My college came in perfect. Everything I learned in college kicked in.
Right.
So that's how I managing a group. And we did that I had the group for about 5 years, and we were really, really blowing up. And then the youngest was 13, and the oldest was me. And I think I was at that time 30, 35, something like that. So it was from 13 to 35. And as time went on, some of them were going through puberty.
Right.
Some of them don't want to practice no more. They learning about boys and learning about girls, and the group just imploded. And I was like, everybody go home. Right. They weren't the same people. They were growing up, living their lives. You know what I mean? Some of them flirting with each other. I'm like, hold on, this is not what we're here for.
Right.
So it was good while it lasted, but I won't do that no more. That was too many people. I was like babysitting. It was like babysitting.
Exactly. I've heard a lot of people say that in the industry, that is either a manager or sometimes even running a label, that sometimes, especially if you have very young artists, which often you have to really sort of develop their talent and also the time that you need and that availability, because sometimes when people have other responsibilities of family or other financial commitments, they can't be as available. And the catch, however, is that you've got to deal with a lot of babysitting factors, development, and people start, as Mama used to say, smelling themselves. I know.
Exactly. That's what they started doing. Exactly. Yeah.
And so it can be a tremendous.
It was a great experience, though. I enjoyed it. I won't do that no more, though. No more.
And do you feel like a lot of those types of skills, all these different things, the culmination between doing the acting and the dancing and the DJing and now the managing and the label and things like that, really sort of helped almost act as this perfect potpourri or smorgasbord to transitioning you into running a magazine, because there's still a lot of the similar type of skill sets of all the elements you have to pull together for every publication? It
worked out perfectly. Just like they always say, you don't know what God has in store for you. You know what I mean? And so my family always say, well, what adventure are you doing this week? You know what I mean? Because they know I'm in the movie. I got a song. I'm on TV. I wrote a book. You know what I mean? So they used to me. My brother and sister, like, he's the one. We don't know what he got.
He's doing something.
Right, exactly. So yes, doing all of that was perfect training for me to start this magazine. Like I said, I always was writing.
Yes.
And then I did poetry, and these are the categories that's in my magazine. I got poetry, I have dance, I have theater, I have music. Check. I've done all of that, you know, and I've been that struggling artist trying to make it. And so, as I said, my magazine was the main goal was to put a spotlight on those that don't have a spotlight. I'm gonna do the famous people too. But I wish it was somebody. I'm gonna be what I needed. I'm gonna be to others what I needed when I was them. You know what I mean? And so people are just so appreciative, the ones that are up and coming. Somebody wants to pay attention to them because they can go to my website and they'll see famous people on there like Cuba Gooding or different actors, and they can say, I'm on that same magazine. I mean, I'm in the same magazine with this person. So my writing skills came in as well too, because I from time to time, I have freelance writers work with me, but for the majority of it, I am Go Bang Magazine. I do the interviews, I find the people, I run the website, I do everything. It's a daunting. I was working on it before we got here. I was just posting an interview. I want to interview you.
Absolutely. I'm in it. I appreciate it.
Cool.
Talk to us about like how challenging it is to sort of get advertising and make it profitable, because that seems to be one of the biggest challenges. It's not so much that to be so much, because I think as we get older, we tend to realize we should live within our means. But it does, I think a lot of people may not realize, like, not only all the elements like you talked about that have to be pulled together to run a magazine, but to actually make it something that you can appeal to advertisers and get those dollars in to really help cover, the cost of the shoots, the photos, the time, and all putting it together, the layout, and then actually, even if it is going onto the internet, that still requires, quite a bit of skill set.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, the first thing I did was, like I said, when I started the magazine, I said, okay, I built a reputation.
Right.
People will be like, well, what's Go Bang Magazine? They may not know that, but who's the owner? Pierre. Oh, I know him. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I had to use my name
Right.
for people. Excuse me. So what I did, like I said, April of 2020, the first month, the world shut down, I think March 13th or March 15th, it shut down.
Right.
I was already working on it and I was sent home. So I'm at home. And my first issue, I came out with 35 interviews. I don't know how in the heck I did that, but I came out big. Steve Bill Curley, a lot of Lawrence Hilton Jacob. I had a whole bunch of Hollywood in there. I came with a bang, go bang.
Literally.
Literally. And so from there up until 2022, I did it with no advertising, and no pay at all. I wanted to build my reach and a reputation.
Nice.
So I reached out to people to interview people that I don't even know. I'm just going through Facebook or going on the internet or whatever, and I see a singer in Japan. I reach out to Japan, reach out to Africa, reach out to Australia. I got America, so I got y'all. You know what I mean? I'm reaching to be international. So I reached out all those 2 years, just reaching out all over the globe, India, China, Switzerland. I got people from all over the world. And then I reached out to people that are well known so that when I interview them, they're going to stretch it out to people in their country and elsewhere. So that was my plan. For the first 2 years, I'm going to just do this for free, just to build a reach and a reputation so that I can tell people, well, look, I'm in China. I have over 6 million people, readers, blah, blah, blah. I had to build up a reputation. It was a calculated plan.
I believe you.
So I said, okay, 2022 came. It's time to make some money. Okay.
I've sown the seeds. I did the work. I put in the time.
It's time to monetize the magazine. So now I have it where I'm reaching out to companies or individuals. If you want to place ads in the magazine, here's my count, the people I have. Here's the countries. Here's my demographics. The age group, sex, and all of that of my readers. I have a wide range of age groups. And so that was the first that I did, ads, because I know it's a lot of artists out there. Those are easier to get than companies. Companies are a little tight with their money.
Very true.
So the artists were easier, or any type of person that had like a DJ or a singer or whatever you do, I place it in the magazine. And so that was the easiest way. And so then once those are ads and sponsorship, then the sponsorships, they couldn't get too many of that because COVID was happening.
Exactly. So everybody.
I want to use those when I throw events, like Go Bang presents Battle of the whatever, And so then it's when I'm asked for sponsorship, because I'm going to do events. We'll have your name on a big old banner. We'll announce you throughout. You know what I mean? So until then, I'm in touch with a whole bunch of companies. Sometimes I'll even do free ads for them. They don't even have to give me nothing. Just to show my appreciation, so that later when I come to you and talk about gimme, you feel good.
You can see
feel good about it. So that's what I did for 2022. 2023, the end of 2022 is when I said, I need a publicist. I've done as much as I can do. You got to know when you can't do it, when you need help.
Exactly right.
Can't be afraid. So 2022, the end is when I met up with Desiree Benson. And that was through a friend who does the soundtrack for one of Tyler Perry's TV shows, Family Business.
So, Mr. Morrison.
Oh, there you go. Exactly. So me and him are friends. That was his. I was interviewing him. And he reached out to me, and that's how we met. And the rest is history. And so with her, she's connecting me with you, and several other interviews and things. So I said, I've done all I can do. Let me do more. Let me reach out to someone that can do more.
Sure, right.
And she's a 5-star publicist. She's the bomb. So for my first publicist, everything worked out. This is just like when I did my first movie. I'm like, I hit it out the ballpark on the first try. So for this year,
great.
I'm monetizing the interviews.
Sure.
Absolutely. If I reach out, if more than likely, if I'm hunt you down, I'm not going to ask you to pay.
Sure.
But if you hunt me down, then we can talk.
Right.
And so that's the third level that I went to, and so that's where we are now. And so now I'm really I'm really monetizing it, and now all my hard work that I put in for 2 years, 3 years is now coming back. Right.
No, absolutely. So well deserved. And it's such a smart strategy. I mean, that's no different than what Google did, and then YouTube and
exactly.
Different companies, and now Tubi, we see the same type of formula, build that reach, quote unquote, it's free, but in reality, you're slowly building that following group so that then you can go and say, look how many followers we have. So very strategic, very, very smart.
Thank you.
With all the things that you do that are exciting, what brings you happiness? What brings you the most happiness?
The most happiness is my family. I don't know if you believe in horoscopes and stuff, but I'm an Aries Taurus. I'm on the cusp. So Aries are loners.
Yes.
Taurus are more social. So sometimes I want to be left alone. And other times I'm like, where is the spotlight? All right. You know what I mean? So I live a busy life working in the industry.
Yes.
But I have a 30-year-old son. I have a 5-year-old granddaughter. And I have a small family. My father died, I think, 2003. So 20 years. But I have my mother, my sister, my brother, nieces and nephews, and my child and grandchild. And that's my world. I got other relatives, but they're far, far, far away. And we're not real tight like that. I know of them. They know of me. We know each other, but we're not on a daily basis. Who I just named is my circle.
Right,
that's my crew. That's my tribe. So family is the most important to me. And then peace. I like nature. I like going out, sitting on the lake.
Sure.
I like the grass, the wind, put my feet in the water, drink on some wine, have my music in the background. I could be with somebody or by myself.
Exactly.
Just peace, tranquil, peace. That's what I like. Peace.
So great.
Absolutely.
Sure. And that's a great transition for one of our last questions. The show's called Music and Medicine. When you hear those words, what does that mean to you?
Music and medicine. Just like I said, music, the arts, period. Sure. Music is medicine.
Yes.
House music, which is what my genre is love. It's peace. Might save so many people from going the wrong way.
I mean, your jubilation and your excitement just literally leaps off the screen. And I just think we can't have too much of that these days. We're seeing, I think, a resurgence of it as we, quote unquote, are coming out of COVID and things like that in the winter. And you certainly exemplify that. And it has been just such a pleasure to get to know you and to feed and enjoy that kind of energy, because I think it's so important. We need people who have a light and act as a source of light and are willing to help, guide others and things like that when things are a little bit difficult or hard. And you definitely know where the party's at, willing to start the party and keep it going and continue to evolve. So such a pleasure. So appreciate you giving us time today.